So I'm at break even at this point, and I stepped back and I looked at this, and looked at this and I said, this is the top of the range and this is the bottom of the range. What are you doing in here? Hey guys, what is up? So today I am at break even because I gave back some profit. But you know, I had a good trade on Microsoft, and then what I should have just done is sat back after that, because the FOMC meeting was today, and we all know that turns things a little crazy. And I should have just waited, because then the move that I was expecting actually came. But that's okay. You know, I'm not red, so we'll just leave it at that. Okay, so this morning, actually, I didn't see what was happening on the SPY right away because we didn't have data coming through for anything on NYSE and a couple of the other ones. So we did have some, and I was able to look at QQQ. So let's pull that up. And I was interested in Microsoft this morning because of the earnings, and because I did see somewhat of a range on it. So I wanted to look at QQQ to see kind of what tech was doing. And this morning, it's bumping up against R4 right here in the pre-market. And if I take it to the daily, we can see we've got this situation right here. So we've got this happening, and so I'm thinking, we've got R4 up here that it's bumping up against. We've got this level that it's bumping up against. I'm seeing that as a pretty good amount of resistance. And at the same time, if we look at it, the pivots, they're not super wide, but they're wide enough, I feel like. And I just wasn't feeling this as like a long. I just felt like it would have really needed something to push it for a breakout of R4 and a breakout of this level up here. So I'm thinking more of a short, of course now, right? It's like totally done the move that I was expecting this morning, but I just should have waited for that meeting. Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Okay, but anyways, back to the trade that did happen. So I was looking at Microsoft, and go to the daily. So let's take the pivots off so that you can actually read this thing. All right, so if we go on the weekly, we kind of see this area here. And then if I go to the daily, just to zoom in a little bit on it, I saw this area setting up on the daily, right? So it's kind of like in here, it tried to break below it, came back up in it. So to me, that's like enough data to go off of for it to be a range. So in the morning, we are gapping up and pushing up in the pre-market close to the top of this range. And that's kind of what I'm looking at for if the sector can't break out and we're hitting that resistance point, I'm looking for a short off of that level. So I bring it to, we'll do the 5-minute. And then I'm actually going to put the pivots back on here because I can show you what I saw. So what I've noticed with these range plays sometimes is that, so here's the range level, the top of that level that I was watching, and then here is actually R4. So a lot of times stocks they'll come up, they'll test this, and if there's like a significant pivot nearby, they might break up and then reject the pivot. So you could consider it a pivot play, but I still considered it like a range play, but this is more of like it's kind of like a false breakout into the pivot. So this morning, what I really wanted, because we were opening right underneath it, I really wanted it to push up, kind of reject it, and then I could just grab it there. But it just sold off right away, and I didn't want to chase it. So what I did was, we'll go to the 1-minute chart, is so we got this huge sell-off at the open, and then I was looking basically at that point for a pullback back to this range level for an entry, and that's exactly what I did. And the reason why also that I did it, we'll bring over the Qs, is that you can see in the morning that the Qs were still, this is that level on the Qs. So it broke down. And when I entered into Microsoft, we had already broken down below this, and now the Qs were trying to push back up, but they couldn't. You know, they were throwing this wick. So I was thinking a short to the bottom of the range on Microsoft would be a safe move. And that's exactly how I played it. So we've got the top. I have been in meetings all day, and so I have no voice anymore. So this is the top of this range that I was pointing out. That was like kind of the smaller range on the daily within that weekly range. And then this is the bottom of it. So I'm looking for basically a traverse down to the bottom of this. And then, you know, ideally, we've got this huge area to play on the Qs, which was like, you know, like a really big range, that if it could stay below that, then we would get a really big move on Microsoft. So, you know, I had a great play on this. I went short, partialed here at kind of like an intraday range. And now we're kind of below the bottom of that range on the daily. And unfortunately I added and kind of screwed myself up a little bit. It's so painful to see it make that move later in the day, but it is what it is. So then, you know, it was popping back above this level here. I'll just zoom in a little bit more so you can see. Yeah. Take this off. There we go. So this is what I was seeing at the time. So it was popping up back above this level a little bit, but it was like really struggling, and the Qs were still kind of struggling, and you know, they weren't breaking up above their level either. So I actually added into this, and as soon as I added, I was like, I think this might have been a little bit too early. Should have at least waited for it to get to below this or come back and retest this. And I got all out. And then, I don't know, I just didn't want to miss the move. So I got back in, and I got stopped out. These are my 2 stop outs. And then I tried one more time, and I got out. And then I stepped back. So I'm at break even at this point, and I stepped back, and I looked at this. And I looked at this, and I said, this is the top of the range, and this is the bottom of the range. What are you doing in here? So, you know, I'm not perfect. I still take trades that I shouldn't be taking every once in a while. So, yeah, you know, really happy with this trade. You know, my patience in waiting for the pullback to this level. And, you know, this ad didn't work out. And then, you know, these were just 2 trades that I shouldn't have taken. And it is what it is. But, yeah, it's definitely doing what I thought. But we just need to have that meeting come out today. Because my all-out target was what it literally just bounced off of. Almost touched, at least, this 292.89 level. And this is my plan for what I would do today. You know, I would have got stopped out anyways when the meeting happened because they wicked up, but you know, maybe could have got back in, but I don't want to chance it anymore. I've done too much. Anyways, yeah, so hopefully you guys had a good day, and hopefully someone caught this move after the meeting, because man, really cool short. So all right, talk to you later. Peace.